another item in. And by the time they get that item in, AP Bren will already have their third in. So, I mean, it's a little bit of trouble, but Ogwin taking a little bit of damage, going to get pushed back. Flapteezy unable to make the advance. Everybody locking on. Albert able to get a couple free shots in. Flapteezy still gets away, but look at Kyle Teasy on to Boots. Boots able to just survive. EP Bren not able to cause the damage they wanted to. Onic able to turtle up very well.
Definitely, and the first Lord coming down. I feel like this could be a turning point that if they could possibly do something, but Onyx utilized quite a bit of their utility right now. San's the only one that really doesn't have an ultimate at this point, and they might just try to bait it here. You can already see the discipline coming from AP Bren. They're controlling the lanes before attempting to take the Lord. Trying to get vision here. Onic might attempt to try. Will he keep trying to keep them at bay? Lord just smoothly fall into AP's hands.
Oh my god, Keyboy in a little bit of trouble. Gonna get grab and slam down. Kyle Teasy able to pick up another kill. 3-0 in 1. Nolan's on fire right now. AP Bren takes the Lord. Onic just biding time at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of rough, right? Onic, what do they really need to do? I feel like they have the ability, they have the heroes needed to mount up a defense here, and I feel like that is what they need to do. Again, they're playing passive, not losing the key. Claude's not going down. Albert staying alive. Kyrie staying alive. Again, the only person that's fallen has been Boots, but again, they're going to have to get some type of kill here as it's 5-0, and the gold lead is it's just going up from here.
Yeah, good call by Sans there. Sends a meteor to check that bush and finds Kyle Teasy, forcing him back a little bit. Flapteezy under the towers, though, taking a lot of hits to the face. Okay. A lot of damage on Ogwin as well. Onic out to defense of the appraiser's wrath. Finally put the kill on the map for Onic. Albert into the back line with a blazing duet, looking for Super Marco. Super Marco drops him on his force, able to also get some more poke off, but Onic does defend without losing an inhibitor.
This is what I was saying, right? Like Onic, they have the heroes needed to defend, right? They're just really late game. They have the Claude late game, Navaria late game. So again, they just gotta keep the pressure up, but not get too overzealous, right? Don't be diving. You can already see that Albert's got 3 items now. The golden staff, the corrosive scythe, and the demon hunter. So gonna be destroying some of the tankiness that AP Bren brings. And then look again, Sans just hitting shots left and right. Super Marco falling a little bit low, but again, AP Bren just has the sustainability to just be there. Makes a major factor into play.
The real problem is definitely going to be Keyboy here. He's very behind. About 30...
Oh. All right. So, kind of looking at what's going on here, we can kind of see that AP Bren, again, wants just feeling Onic out, seeing if Onic can keep up with them. They know that they have the damage at this point. We'll see. They want the red buff. Could be a little bit of a go here. Albert trying to possibly get it. Kyrie able to steal the red buff here. AP now actively backing up.
Yeah, nice plays from over the side onto Onic here. Like I said, Keyboy is very behind on items. He's not able to hold the front line like the rest of the team, but Onic still mounting a good defense. But wait, Ogwin into the backside, causing a lot of damage. Super Marco as well, drops him on for Sans, able to find one. Kyrie drops Ogwin as well. Boots gonna be the next on the chopping block. We'll see if they can do it. This is gonna give Lord over to the side of AP Bren. Onic, without a retribution on the field, will not be able to contest this.
They're just melting this Lord at this point. AP Bren going to utilize this Lord to siege once again. But, I mean, we are getting into the 14-minute mark. We can see a Wind of Nature being picked up by Albert. Could be a saving grace at this point. Navaria has the burn, has the damage. And we can kind of see CC picking up the War Axe as well. So they are gearing up. They are getting the equipment that they need to counter AP bren. So it's just a matter of that. AP bren has just put so much pressure onto Onic. Can they keep this defense up? Can they keep their castle alive?
I mean, if any team can defend with a 12,000 gold deficit, it's definitely Onic. But I don't think AP bren wants to let it happen. Keyboy falls. Kyrie might just be the next pal. He's able to pick up the kill. Albert with a blazing duet. Able to lock on a little bit of damage, clear the waves. The Lord still coming on the top side. AP bren going to try to mount the attack to a different angle. Flap Teasy taking a couple shots to the face, but he's okay. Kyle Teasy onto the backside. Lord finally connects. Boots immediately destroyed, along with the rest of the team, and AP bren takes game number 1.
Definitely quite the game. I can't believe they just ended with that one siege, though. AP bren taking game 1. We see this again. AP bren was very disciplined and controlled a bit of the map there, Trex. A bit, the whole map.
I think, I mean, I have to say that I think Onic has to think twice about letting the Nolan through. I think, and Onic is known to kind of test the waters game 1, but I think this is not the time to do it. This is not a best of 7. This is not a huge thing. They banned out the Phobius. They let the Nolan through, and they just had no answer to it. Kyle Teasy was a monster on it. I mean, just completely tearing them apart. And with the pace that AP bren brought, Onic was unable to do anything about it. Most definitely. I mean, just overall, they did a great job. Onic taking a look at some of these replays. AP bren completely controlling the pace, and even at around 10 minutes, when Onic did start to put up some fights here and there, it still was not enough. They needed definitely another 10 minutes or more to be able to compete here. They needed a lot more time to be able to even make it, G.
Definitely, and I mean, we could just see Onic trying to hold on with every grasp that they possibly could into this game. Well, I just feel like the major factor was that the glue just came in clutch so much for AP bren, and you can just see they again, the Arlot, Keyboy did try to make some key plays, but it just wasn't there as AP bren was just scaling and snowballing. This was another take right here. They were just not allowing Kyrie to get the buffs that he was needed. And then look, the split, just too much for Onic at this point. And then this would have been the final siege, if I'm not mistaken. God, look at that.
The layers of CC there, the layers of crowd control there, with Few bringing in the Guardian, getting the big knockup, then Ogwin getting the Minoan's Fury. Onic did not have an answer to all that. Because they fell behind, it was just far too much. They did a valiant effort at defending it, but AP bren, the bren effect strikes, and there just wasn't a way in. It's nighttime now in the digital arena, but the bots are still watching. If you guys are out there at all watching, big shout out to all of you. Let's take a look at the MVP. Flap Teasy 1-0-9 on a glue.
Hey, again, 47% of his team damage, or the damage taken, which is crazy. So not only was he the DPS, he was also the tank. So he was just, again, the glue just came in clutch. I mean, it kind of countered the CC. Like, the CC had split the damage between a lot of the minions. It was just overall such a wild pick, but actually came into clutch. Could have been something they were just planning. Like I said, if there's any moment, the grand finals is the moment you pull out all the stops. There's a lot of money on the line. Flap TZ going ham.
Yeah, I mean, and it works similar to what the Ruby brings in a sense. It's not like it's not like a hard backline diver, but it can hold the front. And something like with Kyrie on this Fredrin, something like that wants to walk in, it makes it very tough. And we saw it at the very first turtle. Kyrie was not able to get an angle. He was over by the tri-bush. Flap is there waiting for him, getting the stun, then the grab, and just completely denied Kyrie from being able to get into range of even using a retribution.
Yeah, and I mean, this just goes to show that just Flat TZ is just so diverse. I mean, we can see some of the kills. It was like 12-2. Just Onic was just not able to get too much. We can kind of look at Super Marco and Sans here, 2-0-7 versus 0-4-1, and the gold lead was just astronomical. It was just Super Marco was on the rise, and I felt like that they just got so many key picks after the glue. I don't know if they knew what to do.
I mean, there's definitely a lot to do there, a lot to change, and mark my words, I said it wasn't going to have anything to do with the draft. Well, that game, it had a lot to do with the draft. Come on, Onic. But definitely, I mean, I think it's all started with letting the Nolan through. Then it moved on to more things, into the nature of you banned out the Phoveus before you let the Nolan through. And then lastly, the glue was just kind of the nail in the coffin, and it was just something that AP Bren had ready to play, had ready to pull out, and it worked very well. So now it's back to the drawing board for Onic. They have to come differently. Now, do I think they're going to draft like that again? No. We saw something similar in previous matches between Onic and AP Bren on Game 1. Back at M5, they let Kyrie play Benedetta jungle, which a lot of people were like hyping up because people were seeing Kyrie run it on stream. So a lot of people were like, is this thing gonna work? And it just got demolished. Like, it did not work at all. So what I'm saying is, Onic has been known to be like, all right, we're going to try something in Game 1. We're going to see if we can use this to get some momentum here. And it seems like when they do that, it doesn't always work in their favor. So I think it's kind of back to the basics. You know, that's kind of been the rule of thumb tonight between a lot of these teams. Same thing with Fireflux versus RQ Hoshi. Sometimes you just got to get back to the basics, man. Hello, Cat.
Like a third caster trying to come on the desk.
Guest star on the stream.
I'm telling you.
Who do you think's gonna win?
No, Kat, what do you think? I think she said AP Bren, you know.
Oh, nice. Fan of the bees.
I'm joking. Yeah, she's all white, so, you know. I think that she's probably like an Onic, you know. Onic would probably be a better suit. It's an animal, you know. I'm not. AP Bren is.
Bees are animals.
Like
AP Bren are the bees, man. They're the bees.
I guess the bees, yeah.
Yeah, they're the bees.
Cats don't like flying things, though, so.
That's fair. That's fair.
We also got
coming into game number 2. You got a whole zoo over there.
I got a farm over here.
Who left the door open? Who left the door open, man? What happened?
It is what
everybody loves it.
Kind of looking at AP Bren and Onic, right? The last game that kind of went down, the biggest thing that I seen that happened was that really it kind of came down to the draft, but I think it also just came down to that the lanes were just very countered, right? Like, we've seen that the glue is just such a great counter to the CC, and we just noticed that, like, it was just overall a good pick, right? And I think that ultimately turned Onic on its back, and they just didn't know what to do. Again, kind of building onto the Nolan. The Nolan was nice too. Just, it was fast, it was quick, it was constantly invading Kyrie, and just it just was too much for him. I like the R-Lot pick. Like, I felt like it was a good option. It just, the scaling wasn't on Onic's side.
I mean, there was just a lot. I think there was scaling on Onic's side. They just weren't able to catch the wave, right? They just weren't able to. They got completely denied in the early game. And AP Bren were just, I mean, they took their composition, they ran with it perfectly, right? They completely denied Onic of even getting to a point where they could do the damage. Even when Albert got the 3 items in, this was our worry, right? We said, yeah, they'll get 3 items in, but then AP Bren will have 4 or 5. Not to mention Keyboy gets caught off early, who's their roam. He had like an item and a half locked in when everyone else had 3, so he couldn't even hold the front side. It pretty much came down to Kyrie being the tank for the team, and it just wasn't enough. AP Bren was able to shatter through that. So Onic gets back to the basics in game number 2. Most likely they'll be on the blue side. First pick, first ban, hopefully. They're going to need to take some time to think about it, like what the plan is next, because they have to be able to match that pace. If AP Bren keeps on that type of pace, keeps the aggressive, like not the patient AP Bren, but the we're going to destroy you AP Bren, They have to be able to read that, and they have to understand that AP Bren is the full package. Like I said, they want to play utility. If they want to really hover down onto their gold in like golden mage, they can do that. If they want to put Kyle Teasy on an aggressive jungler, they can do that. They have a full book of strategies in their hands right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest part, right? Like, it's like the only thing that I believe like that Onic could do is that they need to bait something in the draft phase. Maybe they have a strategic plan to go against a Matilda. Maybe they have a strategic plan to go against a Guinevere or something like that. Bait out something that they can actually counter and utilize is something that maybe Onic needs to kind of think about. But yeah, I mean, from what we've seen in that last game, AP's Bren's pace was just, it was like calculated. It was smooth. There was just like, there wasn't any mistakes being made. Like when they came to play, and I ultimately do think it came down to some of the counters, just because Onic was just losing lanes left and right. I mean, we've seen the EXP lane fall first, and then the gold lane, and that was before the 5-minute mark, right? Like the gold platings weren't even gone. So I think more of like being defensive might be the best approach, especially if AP is going to be attacking so heavily like they did now. Do you think maybe that's a good strategic approach that they can take?
Yeah, I mean, definitely they could be defensive. They definitely have to not let AP Bren get a composition that's going to allow them to be that aggressive, or they need to play the aggressive route themselves and have something that can compete with that. I think a lot of that's going to come down to, some of those picks. I think I'm wondering, how was the Keyboy pick on the R lot?